Hey everybody, it's Debbie with Debbie D Stamp Studio. Glad that you're here this evening. I don't have any big major announcements or anything tonight. It's October 1st. Happy October. It's like 90 degrees out today, so it doesn't feel like fall, but I'm sure it will get here one of these days. I'm not going to complain about the heat. I love summer, but I love fall too. I love the fall colors, everything. So, no special promotions going on right now. We are actually starting a new Stampin' Up! Year. October 1st begins a whole new year for us, so it's like a fresh new start. Everything's all new except, we're still the same catalog. We still have the holiday catalog still going on. That is going strong and going through January 4th, I believe. Grab my catalog just to see. January 2nd. I was wrong. So, yeah, so there's lots of things in here that we still haven't used, and that is what I'm going to focus on tonight. I picked one set out of here tonight to work with, so let's work with that. So it's the Beauty and Joy set that I'm going to work with this evening. It's like a topiary set that you can build with. It's a distinctive set. It's photopolymer, so you can see through it. It's really fun. I had a lot of fun working with it today. It's got two different pots. It's got leaves and then like holly leaves for Christmas. So we're not going to do the holly tonight. We're going to do a couple different leaves, make fall leaves, and one that you could use for any occasion. So that is that. So let's do some stamping. Where do I want to put this? Out of my way. I don't think I need it, but I don't want to put it too far away just in case. Okay. Since it is a photopolymer stamp set and it is distinctive, I'm going to use my little mat to stamp on. And let me grab some pieces here. The first card, I'm going to use gray granite card base and then a layer of gray granite as well. And then I've pre-cut a piece from Whisper White with the nesting label dies. Let me show you those real quick. Here's the nesting label dies. We've used these several times in classes. So this is not the largest one, but the next one down. And then I've just got a little scrap of white that we're going to use for our sentiment. So there's that. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to take the leaf image. This is like just a cluster of oak leaves, and I'm going to stamp a background. Not with gray granite. I'm going to use my Versamark, and the Versamark ink is used for when we do our heat embossing with the powders, but it also creates a fun, just like a watermark design. Just makes your cardstock like a shade darker. And so I'm just going to stamp this randomly a couple times on the background. And my stamp wasn't perfectly clean, so I've got a little bit of a pink shade there. So I'm not sure if you can see that on camera, but it just makes just a little bit of a watermark design. And fill in that corner and a little bit down here. So that way I don't have just a plain solid cardstock background. So clean that off a little better. I used it in Cajun Craze and apparently didn't get it all the way clean. Okay, so there's that. We'll set that aside for a moment. And now we're going to stamp the topiary. So we're going to start with the basket. And I'm going to do that with soft suede. Ooh. And my soft suede is really juicy, so I'm going to use my spoon and push some of that ink out of the way like I've done before, just because it's super juicy. You can see that ink on there that I've kind of pushed out of the way. Because this is a distinctive set, it stamps with more detail, and if your ink pad is super juicy, then it kind of just fills in all that detail and you lose that when you stamp. So I think I'm even going to stamp off because I want it even a little bit lighter. So there's my basket. And that worked really well. I'm real pleased with that. So we'll clean that off. And now there's a branch or a stem, but I want that darker, so I'm going to do that with Early Espresso. And again, my Early Espresso is very juicy too. So I'm just going to, whoops. Scoot some ink out of the way here. You can see again how inky that is. And then go ahead and ink that up. And I think that's okay. I want that pretty dark. And then just stamp that right down. Oh, yes, very nice. And I don't know if you can see on camera, but the detail for that basket and then the shading in that branch, and that is with the distinctive style stamps, just have a lot of detail to them. Oh, I've got ink all over everything already. Stamp two things and there we go. Okay, now I'm going to use the leaf again to make the top of the topiary, and I'm going to go ahead and ink up the whole thing with my crushed curry. And I'm going to stamp off a little bit, but I want it two-tone, so I'm going to take my pumpkin pie and my sponge dauber, and I'm going to ink up with my sponge dauber. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of pumpkin pie, a little in a couple places. I don't want to do too much because I don't want to lose my crushed curry. So just lightly daub with that pumpkin pie. And then move this back in here. And then stamp that. Can't see very well what I'm doing. And then you get, I'm not really in the center there, but then you get your two-tone orange and yellow fall leaves on your topiary. So that is a fun technique for your fall leaves. And you can do that with more than just two colors too. You could use, ink it up with your lightest color first, and then use your sponge daubers. You could do the pumpkin pie and then some Cajun Craze, and then maybe even add a little bit of cherry cobbler in there. And that could be really pretty to get a lot of different colors. I'm trying to clean this off really good so I don't have that red next time I stamp with it. Okay, so now we are ready to put our card together. Let me close these up since I already have ink all over everything. And move this out of the way for a second. Okay. So now this, we can go ahead and just glue this down to our card base. Make sure our leaves are upright. Just glue that down. And then, let's see. I want this over to this side. I want it over to the left because I'm going to stamp a sentiment and put it to the right. So I need my Cajun Craze back out. Should have done that first. There is a So Thankful stamp. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that on a little scrap of white. See if I can get it straight here. Not too bad. And then I'm going to use my little punch that's retired because it's easier than using the big triple banner punch. And you could always just hand cut this with your scissors too. And I'm not really using this punch the way it's supposed to be used, but I like it, so I use it this way. So then there's my little banner. It's going to go right here. Okay. So now we've got that. And I've got the Cajun Craze twine that is in the holiday catalog, and it comes bundled with the other ribbon, and I don't remember what it's called. But I'm going to wrap it around my fingers maybe 3 times, and then cut that because I want it looped behind my stamped image. So I'm trying to pull it so it's not evenly looped here. Oh, here. That'll be. Okay. So I'm going to add a couple of glue dots. Maybe here. This will be easier. So I'll just pick my glue dots up and add a couple of glue dots so I can stick this down and help hold it into place. And I don't want that tail sticking out, so I'm going to cut it off so it won't show. And then add another glue dot here. And spread this out a little bit just so your loops aren't even. Where'd my glue dot go? Oh, it stuck to my tool. There we go. And then stick this on your glue dot. There we go. So now when I put this on here, we can fiddle with it a little bit and get it where we want it. Okay, so I'm going to put this on with dimensionals. And of course I didn't put them on my table. They're right here, so I can reach them. So we'll just add a couple dimensionals to the back. And get that where you want it and press it down, and that'll help hold your twine in place, kind of. There we go. And then we'll put one dimensional on the end that sticks out here. And then just add a little bit of adhesive to the part that's going to overlap here. And stick that on there. And now I want to add some of the little metallic pearls. These are the gold, just because I think it needs a little bling. Where's my lid? There it is. Cover that up, and we'll use this end for these. And I thought the gold would look nice with the soft suede. And just, oops, usually do like just 3. It's a nice amount. And there is that. So then we'll fold it and give it a nice crease. And there's our first card with the Beauty and Joy set. I think that is really pretty with the two-tone fall leaves, and the twine is all of this except for the pearls is in the holiday catalog. The pearls are in the annual catalog. So there is that. Let me set this one aside here. Okay, now let's see. Don't need that. Don't need that. Might need that. Okay, the next one, I want to use a product that I didn't really even notice the first couple of times that I looked at the catalog. And these are the basic decorative masks. And you get 4 in the package. And there's the polka dots and a little swirly design. And then a tree trunk or tree pattern. So, and we're going to use the tree pattern tonight. And there's so many different ways that you can use these masks. And in the catalog, the samples, they show pretty much, are showing them with the embossing paste. And I highly recommend if you use them with the embossing paste that you have like a tub of water right there ready to toss this in once you're done. Because once you rub that paste over the mask, it dries pretty quickly and it's kind of hard to get off. So once you do that, then set this right down in that tub of water, and then they'll wash up pretty quick or pretty easily after that. So, but we're not going to do that. We are going to, uh-oh, did I forget to cut a piece of paper? No. We're going to do something else. And apparently I forgot to cut my piece of paper. Oh dear. So anyway, but we're going to use crumb cake this time. And again, the same nesting label die that we used before. And a piece, although this is the Very Vanilla instead of Whisper White, which I don't use Very Vanilla as often as I use Whisper White. But I thought for fall, the Very Vanilla would be a nice color to use. So hold on one second. I need to grab a piece of crumb cake. Hopefully I have a piece the right size already cut. And I do. Okay. So I'm going to line this up on my grid paper so that it's straight. Here, get more in the middle here so you can see what I'm doing. Get this stuff out of the way. And then lay my mask on my paper. And get my crumb cake ink pad. And I'm going to use my makeup brush. I showed these before, and I don't usually use anything that Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell, but these work so much better. You could use sponge daubers or the sponges or a brayer, but these have such a fine bristle that they give just a nice smooth look. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. sorry that I'm not using Stampin' Up products, but, and like I said, I don't normally do that, but these just work better than anything that we sell. So just ink up your brush and then kind of start it off the side, and then just keep rubbing over the mask, and the ink transfers to your paper. And you can go over it and over it and over it, and it will get darker and darker, or you can just go over it lightly and get a light look. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just making a subtle background using the mask. So trying to do it one-handed is kind of hard, and you could tape the mask down, but I'm just trying to save time. So here I got it a little dark, so I can go over it a little bit and kind of smooth that out. It's okay. It's probably going to be covered up by part of the stamped image anyway. So just go over till you get all your trees filled in. It's scooted a little bit too, and that's okay, because so then there is your background with your mask, and then this has ink on it, and you could either rub it on your chamois or your stamp scrubber, or just take a baby wipe and wipe it off, or take it to the sink and run it under the water, and the ink will wash right off. So they clean up really nicely. That's how I did it earlier today. So just set that aside. So there is our background piece ready to go. And so now we're ready to do our other stamping. We'll set this aside and get our little nesting label die out and ready to go. And this time we're going to use the basket again. And I need that still. But I'm going to use Pretty Peacock, because we're going to use some, oh my gosh, I forgot to cut that paper too. Pattern paper, or no, I didn't. It's from the Come Together Designer Series paper, and it's got the Pretty Peacock in it, so that's what we're going to use. So I'm going to ink that up, and again, this is super juicy. So where's my spoon? I'm going to spread that out. You can see how juicy that is. That's much better. See if I can get this one in the center. I don't know if you noticed, I switched out the one that I stamped earlier to the one I had stamped before, so it was centered better in my finished card. Okay, and now the trunk. I'm going to use crumb cake for that. So we'll ink that up. Stamp that. Love it. And for this one, this is the one, since we have Cajun Craze is one of the stripes in this plaid, that's what color we're going to use for the leaves. And you could do them multiple colors, but I thought with that paper that might be a little bit too much. So we're just going to do solid Cajun Craze. And that looks pretty good. It's pretty inky, but pretty dark. It tends to lighten up a little bit when it dries. Okay, clean that off. Okay, and we still need Cajun Craze. Okay, here we go. So we're going to do our sentiment on our little scrap again, and we're just going to do the So Thankful again in Cajun Craze to match our leaves. Okay. And let's see. We're going to do it a banner again. So just slip that in there. Oops. Punch. Do the same on the other end, but again, this is not a current product, but my favorite banner punch. Hi, Pam. Okay, so now we have our stamped pieces. We're ready to put everything together. Okay, so we've got our crumb cake card base. And I just want to make sure I don't forget anything as I'm putting this together. And our stenciled background. And again, I think I'm going to trade out because that one's wiggly. So our stencil background. And then okay, so now we've got our paper, our little designer series paper. We're going to add that behind here just so give it a little bit of color. So I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive right where the designer series paper is going to go. And I'm going to line the top edge of the paper right to the top where those top points are. And just kind of line that up and then do the same thing on the bottom. Okay. I was thinking I was going to put twine on here, and now I can't remember where I was going to put twine. So maybe we just won't put twine. Oh, put the wrong one on there. Oh well. It's okay. Okay. I think I want twine. This is the actually linen thread, not twine. And I think I'm going to wrap it around here. Twice. Cut it. And then tie a bow right here. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, there we go. Got that. And now we can go ahead, let's go ahead and put this down. Oops, I missed. Make sure our trees are going the right direction. And then we can go ahead and put this piece down. Kind of interesting looking on the back. And gonna put it over to the left again. So, and that just glued straight down. Trim our little linen thread ends here. I guess we'll put this here. And we're going to put this on with dimensionals on both ends this time. I'm going to stick it so it sticks out a little bit further. Hopefully, no, that's really good. Okay, and now in the annual catalog we have some sequins, and I thought these yellow ones would look really cute on the excuse me, the taupe. Excuse me, I have to get a drink. Choked me up. Okay, so we're going to add some sequins to our little topiary. So this is how we can get our multiple colors by just adding a few little sequins. So there's 5 of those on there. And you could add some more, or you could add some different colors. There's probably other colors that would work in that assortment. So give that a fold. So there's another one using a mask background and some of the designer series paper from the Come Together set. So that is card number 2. And then card number 3, the last one, we are going to use the other pot and the other leaves. And so we have a white card base this time. And we have Pretty Peacock, and this is more of the designer series paper from the Come Together set of papers. And so all these pieces we're going to stamp on here. And this time we're going to use gray granite for the pot. And I love this pot, and the detail and shading and everything is amazing. Make sure I can get it. Oh, I don't have my mat underneath me, but I think it's okay. So, it's just so pretty. I should have probably done my spoon thing, but it's okay. Okay, so now we need our early espresso again for our trunk. You can see it does lighten up as it dries, and then you can see more of the detail. I love that. Okay, so let's do this before we do anything else. Scrape some of that ink out of the way. My super juicy ink pads. Sometimes, see, look at that. Sometimes it's great, but with these distinctive style stamps, you are better off to not have the super juicy. Okay, so the trunk. With early espresso. Even that trunk is so pretty. I love the detail. And while we've got that out, we are going to stamp the words that say, "May your day bloom with beauty and joy." So we've got a circle cut from the stitched shape framelits. That's hard to say. So there's that. We'll set that aside. And then we're going to stamp the leaves in Pretty Peacock to match the paper. So, may as well just do this, just to be safe. So you can tell when you ink up your stamp, if you see it's kind of bubbly, that's probably too inky for the distinctive style. So pretty. Okay, so now we are ready to assemble. Get all these inky things out of the way. Okay, so now I have these both are from the stitched rectangles, and then they layer together. So here's the rectangles. You get 13 in the set. So I just picked 2 and then cut them out, and then they layer nicely together. So that's that. Let's go ahead. We can go ahead and put these layers together. Not on the card though. Oh, of course, that's what I put my adhesive on. Ugh. I don't think I can do this. Maybe I'll do this. No. Yeah, I can do this. Okay. I need to put my ribbon on there before I put it on my card, so I can trim the edges. So on this card, I'm going to go ahead and put this piece on. And then layer my ribbon over the top of it. And then layer the white piece over the top of it. So we're going to put that on. And then I'm just going to place this on here to see about where I want my ribbon, because I want it, well, I need to cut it first. Just cut a piece off. And this is the scalloped linen ribbon that comes in the 5 different end colors, and this is the Pretty Peacock. So this is wide enough that you can just go ahead and use your tape runner and run your adhesive right down the ribbon, and it works great. So I'm just going to hold it in place. I'm not really going to adhere it down. Maybe I should do it on camera to kind of get an idea of where I want it. And then line my card up on my grid paper so that I can make sure that it's straight. And then adhere it down. And then I can trim my ribbon ends off. So I have a nice straight edge on the edge of my ribbon. And now with the linen thread again, if I can find it in my mess, here we go. Gonna wrap it around this piece like 3 times. and then tie a bow again. And I can slide this up and down to where I want it once I get my bow tied and adjusted. Okay, and I'm going to put this piece on with dimensionals. So I want to make sure that I'm going to put it on so that the dimensionals aren't where the ribbon is. So I'll put at the top, and then at the bottom. I didn't think that came off. There we go. Okay, so then we'll just center that right in the middle of the other one. And now I want to scoot this linen thread down a little bit so that it's like under the lip of that pot. There we go. Perfect. And trim these tails off just a tad. Okay, so now I can put this onto my card. And then we have our saying that we can just put a little bit of adhesive here and then a dimensional down here in the corner to hold that up. And just tuck that down here in the corner. Get our little tail out of there. And now this one needs some bling too. Come out of there. So I decided to use the Noble Peacock rhinestones. These are gorgeous. They're in the annual catalog. There's 5 different colors, and of course the Pretty Peacock is one of the colors, so have to use those. So we're going to put maybe one big one just right down here. And then we'll put a couple up here on the leaves. Just because we have to have some bling. There we go. So there's card number 3. So even though that set, I mean, it's kind of any season, fall, Christmas, and then this is kind of every day. So you could use that for a birthday or just thinking of you or, you know, anything. So there are the cards for tonight. There is that one and that one and that one. So that is the Beauty and Joy set from the holiday catalog. And yeah, that's it. So let's see. So for announcements, I have Monday, this coming Monday, October 7th, is Quick and Cute. 15 cards, 5 cards for $15, 11 o'clock or 6 p.m. If you haven't RSVP'd, I have started preparing for that, so let me know if you'll be here. And then Sunday, November 3rd, is my Christmas card buffet. That is a really fun day. Chance to get a lot of Christmas cards done in a short amount of time. That is Sunday, November 3rd, 11 to 3. I'm designing 8 cards. It's a minimum of 8 cards for $25. You can do up to 3 each of the 8 cards, so you could potentially do 24 cards. It's $2 per card after the 8. I know that's really confusing, but so if you did do all 24 cards, it would be $57. Then I also have my Snow Globes Galore class coming up Monday, December 9th. That is, I'm running it kind of like my Quick and Cute. I'm doing 2 classes in one day. It's 11 a.m. and then 5 p.m. That class might take a little bit longer than a Quick and Cute class just because those cards are a tiny bit more involved than what we do in Quick and Cute. It is a product-based class. You receive I forgot to pull them out, the Still Scenes stamp set and then the coordinating dies. And we will do 3 snow globe cards, and then you have the stamp set and die set to take home with you to make more snow globe cards. And then I provide all the product, for you to make the 3 cards, and then you'll have extra stuff to take home with you to make more cards. And that is $55. And I do have a deadline of November 1st for registering for that because I have to have time to order the product for everyone. So you all have your sets and everything to work with when you come that, I almost said evening, day or evening for that class. So I just saw your comment, Pam. I know there's so many things in the holiday catalog that I didn't want, but I now own them. So yes, it happens every time, every catalog. I love it all. So, so that is that. So I hope you enjoyed tonight. I'm glad you all joined me, and I will see you soon. Thank you.